Hello there, students. Today is another day to learn a new lesson in Practical Research 1. Okay, we're still in Module 1 of Quarter 1, the nature of inquiry and research. But this day, we will be focusing on the lessons, quantitative and qualitative research, as well as the kinds of research across fields of inquiry. In the previous lesson, you learned that research should be systematic, objective, feasible, empirical, and clear. These characteristics guide you in realizing the real nature of research, following the processes as well as the factors in selecting your general problem or topic. Now, as a researcher, you need to consider the ethics and unethical practices in conducting research. I hope you can still remember the things that we have talked about in the previous lesson. Now, this lesson, we will be focusing on the two research designs applicable in conducting research. So the first one, we have qualitative research, and the second is quantitative research. This is the two famous methods or research design used in research. But first, let us know first their types, individual types, but let's not dig deeper because there is a separate discussion on these types of research. Okay, so the first design is qualitative, and its types are ethnography, grounded theory, case study, discourse analysis, phenomenology, historical research, narrative report, and biography. Whereas quantitative research, it has the types experimental research, and under experimental research are pre-experimental, true experimental, and quasi-experimental. Another type of quantitative research is the non-experimental research, called as the survey research, and it has also subtypes, which are descriptive research, comparative research, and correlational research. And we also have action research. Those are the types of research that belongs to quantitative research. Okay, so now we are talking about those two research design, the qualitative research and the quantitative research. Now let us know their differences in terms of definition. So for qualitative research, it is the process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting non-numerical data such as language. So take note that qualitative research analyzes and interprets non-numerical data. So you will be interpreting here those information and data shared by your participants through their language. Okay, so you will focus here more on the language use. While quantitative research involves the process of objectively collecting and analyzing numerical data to describe, predict, or control variables of interest. So in qualitative research, as I have said, you will be analyzing here data shared by your participants through their language. Whereas in quantitative research, you will be analyzing numerical data. Okay, so here in quali, language, in quanti are numbers. Okay. Okay, so the goals and objective of first qualitative research, its goal is to understand how an individual perceives and gives meaning to their social reality. So the goal in qualitative research is for you to understand the experiences and challenges of your participants. Whereas for quantitative research, it is used to test a theory and ultimately support or reject it. Okay, so in quantitative research kasi, you will be testing here theory. And then after selecting a theory, you will be proposing a hypothesis. And in analyzing your data, you will be testing those hypotheses if it is true or not. Okay? So meron tayong tinatawag dyan na i-reject ba or i-reject or tanggapin ang null hypothesis. Okay? So you will know on that as you go along with practical research 2 in quantitative research. Next, another goal of qualitative research is it studies things in their natural settings, attempting to make sense or interpret phenomena in terms of meanings people bring to them. Okay? So natural settings, because experiences of your participants here happened naturally, and that is what we are going to collect, interpret, and analyze in qualitative research. So for quantitative research, its goal is to test causal relationships between variables, make predictions, and generalize results to wider populations. Kasi in quantitative research, meron kayong tinatawag na independent and dependent variable. And you will be identifying if those variables have relationship with each other. Okay? So, see, quantitative research is like cause and effect testing. Okay? Cause and effect research. For the data description, for qualitative research, data adds the details and can also give a human voice to your survey results. Okay. So in qualitative research, since you will be collecting here the experiences of your participants, and those experiences shared by your participants can give voice to the survey result. Okay. Whereas the quantitative data, it can help you see the big picture, because in quantitative research you will test a lot of participants, and thus your data or your result can speak, that result you have gathered can be a representative of those majority of the people you have involved in your research. Okay, so data can help you see the big picture. No? For the sample size, this refers to the participants in your study. For qualitative research, you only have small sampling. Okay, small sample only, gamay lang siya. And also, you use non-probability sampling. We'll deal on that later on. For quantitative research, data can help you see the big picture. Okay, naulit na ito kanina. And it uses probability sampling. Okay, so to illustrate those non-probability sampling and probability sampling, so here is a picture to represent those terms. For non-probability sampling, we use we use this 4 common sampling method. We can select our participants through convenience sample, purposive sample, voluntary response sample, or snowball sample. Okay, so in qualitative research class, participants here are selected according to the purpose of your research. So everybody, or not all, say for example in a classroom, not all students there have the opportunity to become your participants, since you will only select kung sino yung qualified to be your participants. Whereas probability sampling, okay, this is under quantitative research, and its types are sample random sampling, stratified, systematic, and cluster. In probability sampling, everybody will have the chance to be your participants. It's just that there is a system of selecting your participants. Halimbawa, in a classroom, no? So, sila lahat pwede ninyong maging participants. However, you will have a systematic method in selecting them. It's either kukuha ka ng, say for example, sa alphabet in their list. For male, you will get first 5, no? First 5 ng male, okay, participants na namin kayo. Female naman, first 5, okay, participants. Other way also of doing probability sampling is counting, okay? Say for example, they will count 1 to 60 if they are 60 inside the classroom. And then all odd numbers will be selected as your participants. Or all even numbers will become your participants. No? So meron tayong mga systematic way in choosing our sample, no, in quantitative research. Let's move on to the data gathering method. For quali, it is unstructured or semi-structured because you will not be strictly following here questionnaires, and they will be selecting ABCD or 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's for quanti kasi, no? So in quali, you will be using interviews, observation, or group discussion. That's how you will gather your data. Whereas the quantitative is standardized and structured, wherein your participants will be answering a survey questionnaire or a checklist or a paper and pencil test and experimentation. So, very structured si quanti. Si quali naman, unstructured or semi-structured. Another, qualitative research also uses open-ended questions, no? Since you will be conducting an interview. It also allows a participant to answer an open text format. Responses are unlimited to a set of options. So, whatever questions you throw to them, okay? So, they can answer it openly, no? Hindi sila limited to answer sa dito lang na mga choices. Whereas the quantitative research, it uses closed-ended question. As I have said kanina, kasi meron kayong ginagamit na mga questionnaire. Questions can only be answered by selecting from a limited number of options. So, it's either yes or no, okay, in a scale of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, select ka lang doon or no, basta may mga choices. So, that is quanti. For the activities, so qualitative is inductive, wherein the researcher starts with the observations, an open mind without biases, gathering all exact details of the topic, and generalization or new theory is given towards the end of the research process. Okay, so explain natin yan later. Si quanti naman, it is deductive. Pag sinabing deductive, it starts from a hypothesis or already created theory, emphasizing the previously researched phenomenon from different views tested against observations. Okay, so sa inductive class, magsisimula ka by observing. Okay, then after observing, you will now generalize. Okay, so ito yung na-come up mo after the observation. Okay, may marami yung process. Sa deductive naman class, magsisimula ka sa general theory, and then you will move along to the different views, no, or yung mga observations after testing a theory. So to further illustrate these two, so meron tayo ditong illustration. For deductive class, ito, so the idea here is all men are mortal. So that is your hypothesis. Okay? Now, in your observation, you've observed that Jason is a man. Alright? And then you have concluded that Jason is mortal. Again, so your hypothesis here is all men are mortal. And there here comes Jason who is a man. So therefore, Jason is immortal since he is a man. Okay, that's for a deductive. That's the idea of deductive. For inductive naman, so magsisimula tayo sa observations, then analysis, and then theory. Okay, so idea is, I break out when I eat peanuts. So your analysis to this is a symptom of being allergic. So therefore, your theory is, I am allergic to peanuts. See the difference? So for the first, again, for the deductive, you start with a theory and then conclusion. Whereas for inductive, you start with an observation followed by a theory. Okay, another example. Alright, ito. So sa inductive, okay, the same lang, observation, generalization, and then come up with a theory. So deductive, you begin with a theory and then test the theory and then give your prediction and then conduct now an experiment. So again, si quali is deductive, si quanti usually is deductive. Now for data discussion and presentations, both uses inductive and deductive. Okay? Yung kanina activities, yun siya. Ito naman, data discussion and presentation, how you will present or discuss your data. So for both, you use inductive and deductive method. So they are not mutually exclusive with each other in discussing or presenting your research. Okay? Inductive, there is another term for this, which is bottom up. Okay? Is used if researcher starts discussions from the lowest and highest means, then explains the overall mean. So observation and then your theory. For inductive naman, the other term for this is top down. So if discussion is from the overall mean going to the lowest and highest means, that is deductive. Okay, I hope those terms are clear. Now for the data analysis, si quali, synthesize data or interpret or make a theme. Okay? Or ito yung tinatawag nating thematic analysis. In interpreting the data for quali, it is subjective. Okay? That is subjective because you will be selecting from your participants' responses saan doon ang nagkakapare-pareho and then gagawan mo yan ng theme. Data analysis is influenced by the personal experiences and views. Okay? So, papasok dito in analyzing the data for quali, papasok dito yung mga views ninyo as the researcher or as someone who also have experienced it, no? So that's how you will interpret or analyze your data for quali. For quanti naman, you use statistics. Okay? So hindi kayo ang mag-a-analyze ng data sa quanti. Kukuha kayo ng expert in or a statistician. So, objective ang pag-analyze ng data kasi kung ano yung mga results na lumabas during your survey, so doon lang kukuha, no, si statistician ng information. The researcher employs standard criteria in analyzing data. So, kaya nga si quanti is considered structured kasi meron silang structured yung kanilang process in analyzing the data. Alright, so that's it for the differences of quali and quanti. Now, let's move on to the similarities of quanti and quali. First one, both have the process of inquiry and investigation. So, alam na natin kung anong meaning ni inquiry and investigation. Both improve life and help us in understanding various issues of life and in giving solutions to our problems. So both helps us understand various issues. Kasi simple analysis or simple illustration ni quali and ni quanti. Halimbawa, class, tinanong kayo kung sino ang mas maganda. Okay? Si Ann Curtis ba or si Liza Soberano? Okay? So, for qualitative approach, okay? So, sasabihin mo kung ano yung characteristics of being for being beautiful, no? Characteristics of beauty. Okay? So, that's how you will describe, no, beauty using language, using words. Whereas if you use quanti, no, in describing, so magre-rate ka lang from 1 to 5, okay? So from 1 to 5, saan dyan ang beauty ni ganito, okay? So ganyan ang ang difference ng dalawa. However, it helps us understanding yung kanina, the word beauty, okay? But in reality, it helps us understand various issues, okay, in different perspective. Also, both start with a problem and end with a new problem. Kaya nga si research, one of the characteristic of research, diba, is it's cyclical. So paulit-ulit lang siya, no? Next, both use textual forms in analyzing and interpretation of data. Okay? So, gagamit tayo ng text in both approach to analyze and interpret. It's just that wala kang makikitang number sa quali. However, gagamit pa din ng words si quanti. Numbers cannot explain, no, the data that has transpired after the analysis. So, gagamit pa rin ng text. So, both also use inductive and deductive methods of presenting data. So, na-discuss na ito kanina. Alright, let's move on to the kinds of research across fields. Okay, so, there are different researches, no? Pag sinabing nating field, pag sinabing fields, this refers to the different disciplines, no? The different disciplines in our society or the different fields of study in our society. Okay, I use a tabular form to illustrate the different kinds of research across different fields. So the first column is intended for the area of interest. The second column is their description. And the third column is their example of studies. Now for the first kind is the arts-based research. If you wanted to focus your research on arts or related to art, so dito ka, pwede mo itong gayahin or pwede mo itong pagbasihan. So, for its description, personal expression in various art forms is used as a primary mode of inquiry. So, you use arts as your primary mode of asking or conducting your research. Example, studies. So, mga title itong nandito. The first one, the role of arts in students' achievement in reading. So, kung ang study mo is you wanted to study kung ano yung role ng art sa achievement ng bata when it comes to reading. Second, how classroom artistic structure motivates learning. Okay, so interesting yung mga title natin dito, no? So, second is how classroom art, yung mga art sa classroom daw. Okay? Paano ba ito nakaka-motivate or nakakatulong sa learning ng bata? So, 'di ba connected siya sa arts? Okay? So that's one kind of research. Second is research in humanities. Okay? Sino ba yung mga under sa HUMS dyan? So you can use this as your basis. So ano itong humanities? It deals with human culture such as philosophy, religion, literature, linguistics, and history. It also includes ancient and modern languages, human geography, laws, politics, and other social sciences. Okay? Basta related sa social science na field, so pwede mong gamitin ito. Okay? So example studies, values education in public schools, practices and challenges. Okay? So observe nyo yung mga yung mga title. Observe the titles if how they are constructed, no? Second, children in conflict with the law, a resolution and intervention. So, interesting ito, yung mga children in conflict with the law, o yung mga minor children who already committed crimes. So, a resolution and intervention. Okay, so kung gusto mong mag-research ng mga ganyan, so under yan sa humanities. Then, the third one is sports research. This is intended for athletes to endure their health and wellness goals through proven high-quality products. It also helps the coaches and athletes to access information and apply it to develop programs and techniques in sports. So, sino yung mga athletes dyan? Okay, pwede kayong gumawa ng research that is related naman to sports. So, paano kayo gagawa ng title? So, ganito. Student involvement in athletics and their academic performance. So, itong title na ito, it is quanti. No? Yung ganitong mga title. Kasi may dalawa itong variable. First one, student involvement in athletics. Second variable is their academic performance. So, i-test ninyo kung meron bang relationship yung pag-i-involve ni student to athletics or to different sports. Meron ba siyang epekto sa kanilang academic performance? So, that is under quanti. No? Another, sports and fitness supports on students in public schools. Ito naman, quali ito. So, ano ba yung mga support na naibibigay ng schools to our athletes? Okay, so these are related to sports research. The fourth one is science research. Okay, so mga STEM dyan, hello, kaway-kaway. So, ito para sa inyo. So, science research discovers laws, postulates theories that can explain natural or social phenomena. Okay? Apply systematic and constructed scientific method to obtain, analyze, and interpret data. A strong and testable hypothesis is a fundamental part of the scientific research. I know some of the STEM students here have already conducted experimental research during their junior high school. So I believe they already have an idea on how research is conducted and how it is processed. Okay? So, example studies related to science are utilization of garbage and other waste resources as cleaning materials. Okay? Second, making of COVID-19 cure out of heat transfer. So, para silang mga scientists, no? So, making of COVID-19 cure out of heat transfer. So, gagawa sila ng experiment about that. Okay? Then, mathematics research. Kung meron tayong science, meron din tayong mathematics. So, it provides mathematics mastery topics and helps develops confidence and interest to solve more mathematical problems. So, if you're fond of solving mathematical problems, so you can use mathematics research. It may also assist to find new methods to simplify calculations, no? Or kung meron kayo may propose ng mga solutions na simple, no, ng mga process in solving a problem. So why not use this field? Okay, example studies related to mathematics research are the following: student difficulties in general mathematics, remediation, and interventions. So kung sino yung nahihirapan dyan, dun sa general mathematics, pwede nyo itong pagbasihan, no, na study. Second, a systematic approach to changing classroom practices for enhancing mathematics outcomes. No? So, magaganda ang mga title na ito. So, pwede nyo itong i-enhance at gamitin. Then, for agriculture research, yung mga hilig dyan sa agriculture, so pwede ito sa inyo. Improves productivity and quality of crops, irrigation, storage methods, effective farm management, and marketing of agricultural resources. Agriculture is the backbone of the economic system, providing food, raw material, and employment opportunities. So sabi nila, farmers are the ones feeding our country. Why? Agriculture is very important in our country. Okay? Just today, no, medyo na nanineglect yung ating mga farmers. Okay? So, if you're interested, no, in discovering the experiences, challenges of our farmers, so you can conduct study about agriculture. Okay? So, example, studies, green space in school, social and environment perspective. Okay? Second, is urban gardening a source of well-being? Okay, so titles like that are related to agriculture research. Moving on, we also have fisheries from the word fish. So, alam na natin yan. So, for the description, to increase the productivity and management of fishery resources to provide food, protect and maintain different bodies of water for sustainable supply of aquatic resources. Balitaan nyo yung news, no, that one time Philippines is importing galunggong from other countries, which is somehow it saddened the Filipino people because we are an archipelagic country, and then why importing, no, galunggong from other countries? So might be there is a problem, no, in the area of fisheries. So example studies that is related to fisheries are finding a future, sustaining inland fishery. Second, fishing for change, fishery policy in the Philippines. So if you're interested to study about fishes, no, in our country, so you can use fisheries research. Then, we also have information and communication technology, or ICT. Okay, so it aims to adopt current technology advancement which enhances development of resources. Okay, so kung gusto nyo mag-research about sa ating internet connectivity, no? So, we also have advancement in technology. So, pwede nyo itong pwede ito si ICT research. Okay, so examples, the role of ICT in the new normal education. So, if you wanted to know what is the role of ICT in this new normal, so why not conduct a research about that? Another, exploring the interactive computer simulation in public schools. So, very interesting ito, no? Very timely. Kasi, just like what we are doing right now, we are conducting lessons, classes online. So, you can mirror from these studies. Then, business research. So, kung interested ka sa business, so pwede mong gawan ito ng research. So, it acquires information in business to maximize the sales and profit. Okay, bakit tayo nagbi-business? No? To make sale and gain profit, di ba? It aids business companies, regulates which product or service is most profitable or in demand. Okay? Kasi yung mga GAS students dyan. So, pwede kayong mag-research about this one. Okay? So, example of studies, developing a framework for small-scale business, or okay. Another, business practices and strategies of small enterprises at Limkit Kai Mall. Okay, so yan. Researches related to business. Mga GAS students, pwede kayong pwede kayong gumawa ng research sa field na ito. Then, social science research. Pwede din ito yung mga UM students. Okay? It finds solutions for human behavior, gathering information about people and society. Example studies, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on employment opportunities. Second, implementation of enhanced community quarantine in low-risk area of Davao de Oro. Okay, so sino ba dito sa mga UM students ang gustong maging social worker in the future? So, pwede kayong gumawa ng research about what is happening in our society. That's under social science research. Then, okay, those are the kinds of research in the different fields. Okay, so marami yon, di ba? So I hope you can choose among those fields that I have presented to you. Now, developing an interest in different kinds of research will help you look into something that affects your personality in your life in some important way. So I have said in the first lesson that when choosing your problem, you have to consider your field of interest. So, saan ka ba interesado? So, yan muna yung first step na gagawin mo. So, think of what field you are interested in so that you can, you will be motivated to conduct the research and to go on with your research. If you're interested on a topic you are researching, you will enjoy reading and learning about it. You have to be interested on the topic you choose to study. Because if you're interested on a topic you're researching, you will enjoy reading and learning about it. Okay? So, to define clearly the types of research in areas of interest you want to embark, focus on scientific skills, your passion, and ideas. It supports you to connect to your career path. Alright? So, I guess some of you here are already clear about their career path, but some are still confused, no, about what career to take when they proceed to higher education. Diba? As now, find your interest. Find where you are passionate about. Okay, so because it will not just help you in research but also in choosing your right career path. So if there are any questions regarding the lessons presented, just comment on the comment section or send a private message to your subject teachers. Okay? It's quiz time. Answers to these questions or to these activities will be submitted in your Google Classroom. For the first part, decide whether the following topics or research questions is qualitative or quantitative and explain why and what is your basis. Okay, so it has only 5 items and tell whether it's quali or quanti, then a short explanation. For number 1, these are research titles. Number 1 title, Culinary Arts, Then and Now. Number 2, how do the TVL students feel about their chosen strand? Number 3, what is the degree of satisfaction of students taking the different senior high school tracks? Number 4, the way and how of social networking use. And number 5, the level of social media addiction among the youth. Okay, that's for the part 1. For the part 2, this is modified identification. For the direction, for the following research titles, identify from which field it belongs by choosing your answers from the box. Write only the letter of your answer on the space provided below each number. Okay, just write your answer in any paper. Basta readable lang ang handwriting. Okay, so ito. So this is composed of 10 items, and the numbers written in the right column are research titles, and then you're going to identify what field of research does these titles or do these titles belong. Okay. So just take a screenshot or photo of this so that you will have a copy of your own. Okay? So again, submit your answers in our Google Classroom. To end our discussion, let me leave you this Bible. Let me leave you with this Bible verse from Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. Alright, that's all for this lesson. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye, everyone, and have a nice day.